Manu, what do you remember most from that picture?
That was a long time ago. I was, I think, 19 years old, and I was, you know, you can see I was wearing very short hair because I was in a military service, and I hate this picture.
Because you look good there.
No, because I can see my ears like
I can see
Jumbo.
Your ears
I look
now,
like Jumbo, you know.
I can see your ears now. They don't
Yeah, because I get operated.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did because, you know, I was shy, you know, when I was young, people, they were making love about my ears all the time, hey, Jumbo, Jumbo.
Okay, how was it like playing in Monaco though?
I love my time in Monaco.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, you know. Really, on the French Riviera, back in the days, it was cool, you know, the life was so peaceful.
What was your highlight of your career in Monaco?
To meet the princess, yes.
Yeah.
The family, yeah, no, the Prince Albert. He was young back in the days, and his sisters as well, you know, Stephanie and Caroline. And their father, he was such a great man, you know. Yeah. I remember this picture. That was my first goal
for Arsenal.
Yeah. And you know why they all came to me? And because I remember what Dennis Bergkamp said to me. He said, it took you a long time to score. You deserve so much to score a goal. And I was so happy because the media, before that, they were putting pressure on me, saying that it doesn't score enough goals. But you know, in French, when you play midfield, holding midfielder, you can go forward. You stay, you know. You just hold the midfielder. It's not in our mentality to go forward and try to score goals. And I have to adapt myself when I first came in England. And I was so happy. And because my teammates, they were so nice with me all the time. And you could see the fans. I remember after the goal, I was on my knee and was like this in front of the fans. I was praying for them. And I remember so well. Because the following day, on the front page of the newspapers in England, they said Saint Emmanuel. Whoa. And I loved it. You know, honestly, give me
goosebumps?
Yes, because I really love my time in Arsenal. Yeah. I really love the connection with the fans. Yes.
And you won a cup there as well.
So we won the double the first time, the first year I came. That was just before we won the FA Cup as well at Wembley against Newcastle. Yeah.
So how does that compare to winning the World Cup, though?
You see, I won the Premiership title with Monaco, and I left a few months later for Arsenal. And the following months, we won the double with Arsenal, and then 3 weeks later, we won the World Cup with France. And when I come back from France after, we won the Charity Shield with Arsenal again at Wembley. So 1998, 1999 was the most unbelievable year I had, and I wish that to every single player to feel what I felt. I remember because we did a run, you know, in the Highbury area to celebrate with our fans, and it was great memories because...
Do you remember what you said?
Honestly, no. I think I said I love you, no, to the fans.
Okay. In French?
Je t'aime, je vous aime.
And that was you playing with Beckham.
Beckham, yeah. Yeah, against Manchester United. I think that time, even now, but back in the days, they had great teams, you know, especially in midfield. They played with Scorsese, with Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, David Beckham, up front with Cole, Chetty Sheringham. They were great players, and every time we play against each other, it was great battle, you know, great passion and great entertainment on the pitch. And I remember so well because before we won the Premier League, after Christmas, we were, if I remember well, 13 or 14 points behind Manchester United, but we had 3 games in hand, and we won at Old Trafford 1-0. I think it was Mark Overmars who scored the goal at Old Trafford, and then we knew after that game we're going to win the Premier League. But I remember they had such a great team. Scorsese, Giggs, wonderful player.
Yeah.
And this, Nicholas, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, they're my brothers. Everything changed so quickly now. And when I look at Nicholas, you know, I feel very sad for him about the treatment he received in France for the last few years. And I think Patrick as well, I think...
but why do you think Anelka has it worse than even like Vieira or even Henry?
What do you mean by that?
Like you were saying the media treats them
Yes.
very badly.
You know, I know him since such a long time, you know. He came to my house all the time when we played together at Arsenal. He slept in my home all the time. He was so shy.
Really?
He never had any trouble with anybody, you know, into dressing room. Never had any arguments. All the arguments he had come from the press all the time. Because he's a shy guy. He doesn't like to talk, you know, to explain himself. Yeah. And people, they're always trying to look after him some troubles, you know. And that pissed me off all the time. But, you know, when I look at Tony Adams, as I said, when I first came to England, when I went into the dressing room, I knew the first minute I came in, I knew I was at the right place. Yeah. Because I felt home, you know, with men around me, you know, proper guy, you know.
Real men.
With all different personality, like Ian Wright, he was crazy. Dennis Bergkamp, he was so shy. We were all together, all different color, different religion, but all together on the same team.
Great.
That's what life is about, you know. Yeah. And I think nowadays, I think we forget that.
How was it like on your last day with Arsenal and then moving to Barcelona?
It was very difficult for me. And honestly, even now, I'm 44 and I still regret. I still asking myself, why did you leave? Why did you go to Barcelona? I didn't want to go to Barcelona. I made the wrong decision. The first month I was in Barcelona, I was so sad inside. I didn't want to play football anymore. And over there is so political. I thought I was wearing the wrong shirt, you know, during that day. Yeah. I played against my friends, against my family. I felt I betrayed them.
Did you have was there anyone in Barcelona though that you were close to? That you would consider?
Yeah, Rivaldo.
Yeah.
And we were very close and he was very shy. He never talked to any people and I remember so well because before Christmas time, he came to me and he said, do you want to spend Christmas in Brazil with me and your family? And I said, yeah, why not? I've never been to Brazil. Wow. And just before we leave, he came to me and he said, listen, I've been thinking about it and I think it's not a good idea for you to come in Brazil. It's a little bit too soon, you know, you just won the World Cup, you score a goal in final, people, I don't know if they like you in Brazil, so we're going to wait a little bit. I said, oh, it's fair enough. Yeah. I'm going to wait.
Okay. So you were with Barcelona for about a year.
Yeah, I signed 4 years, and after 2 months, I wanted to leave the club. You know, I've done only 4 clubs: Monaco, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Chelsea. Every time I left the club, except Arsenal, it's because I felt that was the best decision. My story was over. I needed to write another pages, you know. And this is why, if I have an advice to give you, never do something you don't want to do. You know, I always try to behave in a right way on the pitch. I always try to be a good example for kids and people. Yeah. I was always careful about my behavior on the pitch, every time. But there is some players, sometimes you just want to take them to slap them, you know, because they're such ignorant. You just want to teach them a lesson, you know. And this guy, you know, he was all the time. Not a bad guy, but I can be a bad guy if you want me to be a bad guy. Yeah. But don't looking after me like in this way because you will be surprised. I'm sorry for my language, you know.